I don't rightly know how I got where I am now.
The last 40 miles tells the story of a death row inmate's final journey to his execution. It's the creation of journalist Alex Hannaford. He's been interviewing inmates for 11 years, and this particular prisoner, Ray, stuck in his mind.
He had been taken to the death chamber 3 times, given his last meal 3 times, and read his last rites 3 times, and then each time they'd given him a stay of execution until they decided he was intellectually disabled and they couldn't execute him anyway because of the Supreme Court decision. So he was then taken off death row and put in a regular prison cell, and he's there to this day.
During Ray's final journey, we learn about his troubled childhood and the events that brought him to this place, and the fact that he's intellectually disabled. Hannaford chose to tell the story using animation, as he felt it would provoke a stronger reaction from viewers.
I would like people to look at it and say, okay, this is based on a true story. That's interesting, because I actually felt a little bit of compassion for this guy. And I've heard people say they see it and they say, oh, I don't think he did it. And, you know, that's interesting to me, because I didn't really want to editorialize about whether he did it or not, because actually I don't really know. And you don't know in the film whether he was executed or not, but maybe it just kind of leaves you with a bit of a bad taste in your mouth at the end, thinking, oh, okay, we execute human beings rather than monsters. And I think that's the thing.
The filmmaker very much wanted to show the humanity of the inmate, to show the things that he sees and the things that he thinks on his final journey from Livingston in the east along this road to Huntsville. And in doing so, to give an insight into every death row inmate's final journey.
I've done this journey before, sir.
On the morning of an execution, they'll drive the inmate from Livingston to Huntsville. And actually, it's one of the most beautiful drives in Texas, ironically. It's pine trees and fields and little windy roads, and there's this beautiful lake, Lake Livingston, and you just think, and I started to think, that's kind of crazy, this is the last thing these guys ever see.
Texas has now banned the execution of anyone found to be intellectually disabled. But race is still an important factor, with a disproportionate number of African Americans on death row.
If you killed a white person, you were more likely to get the death penalty than if you killed a black person. It's as simple as that. So to say that race doesn't play a part in the justice system where the death penalty is concerned it's just false. If you're going to have an impartial, fair justice system, then fine, but we don't. We don't when it comes to the death penalty. That's all.
Hannaford feels the tide is turning against the death penalty. Increasingly, more people in America seem to feel, like Alex, that executing criminals doesn't bring closure. It only perpetuates the cycle of violence. Nick Harper for Telesaur, Huntsville, Texas.